Hi everyone, my name is Shirley. I am currently in my final year of International Business Management at Petra Christian University. In this opportunity, I would like to describe myself using the Action Learning Framework, which was taught by Professor Dr. Casey Cheng. So without any further ado, let's get started.
So here's the framework of action learning. First question is what, which indeed will explain about what am I. There are three main things that will be discussed in here, which are what I know, what I do, and what I want to be. To explain about what I know, I have done 5 tests which classified in 3 different levels, which are the first is individual competence, which will talk about my learning skill, my capability, and personality. The second is the team capacity, which will talk about my capability in working with others. And lastly is the organizational capability, which will talk about my capability in leading an organization. Moreover, I will also identify my self-assessment or the top 4 attributes that mostly describe about me. My top 4 attributes that are representing myself are creative, passionate, hardworking, and adaptable. By creative, I mean that I often find a creative ways to solve problems in group. And passionate means that I always focus to get what I really want. In order to achieve what I want, I can tell myself as a hardworking person as I always get up whenever I fail and I never stop trying. Last is adaptable. I can adapt with new environment and people easily without any struggle. Next, I'm going to talk about my competence as an individual. There are 3 tests to represent my competency. First is learning style. There are 4 types of learning style, which are reflector, theorist, pragmatist, and activist. And from the result, it shows that I'm an activist and pragmatist. By activist, it means that I learn by doing. I learn from my experience, and thus failure doesn't bring me down, but up instead. I strive for more of new things in my life as I can learn more. Connecting with the first one, I am also a pragmatist, which means that I can learn by seeing how the real world works. Next test is about my entrepreneurship test using the general enterprising tendency test. From the GET test, it is shown that I have a high-medium level of entrepreneurship. It means that I have a quite high skill in entrepreneur. To be detailed, I get a higher score in creative tendency, which align with one of my attributes, and also in calculated risk-taking. High score in calculated risk-taking means that I mostly gather some information first prior doing something to evaluate if it is worth pursuing opportunity, which is usually involve some risk. And last test is my Big 5 personality test. In this test, there are 5 major personalities that will be discussed. The first one is extraversion, which I got a quite high score. It shows that I am easily adapt with new people, which align with one of my attributes. The second one is conscientiousness, which I get a low score, and it implies that I'm a disorganized person. This is because I prefer spontaneous activity rather than planned schedule. Therefore, I am a very flexible and spontaneous. Next is agreeableness. The result shows that I'm a considerate person, kind and helpful. It is true, as I'm usually the one who asks for forgiveness when I'm in a fight. Next is neuroticism. The result shows that I'm a very calm person. I rarely get nervous and feeling negative when faced with problem, which shows a high emotion stability. And the last one is openness. I get middle score, which indicates that I'm quite open to something new. So that is the first level of the self-awareness. Next level is about my capacity on a team. Using the Belbin 9 team roles test, my result shows that I'm an implementer, specialist, and teamwork. As an implementer, it shows that I always get things done in the group. By specialist, it means that I have a certain specialty when work in group. As for teamwork, it shows that I can work well with my team. And so that is the team capacity. The last level is my capability to lead an organization. My leadership self-assessment test shows that I have strong skill in communicating, building relationship, and negotiating. Negotiating skills show that I am pretty good in bargaining fairly with people about anything and get a win-win solution so no one gets hurt. The next skill aligns with my attribute, which is building relationship. I believe that I can build a good relationship with people from different backgrounds. Last is communicating with people, which quite relatable with negotiation skill. And here is all the what I know. Next, I'm going to talk about what I do. In here, I'm going to talk about what I have done in my life to have my self-development. And what I have done throughout my life is opening my business in 2012, which called Japan Corner, and specialized in imported snacks. Then in 2013, I entered IBM program to gain more knowledge for managing business in international scope. Then in the middle of 2014, I was appointed as one of the class captain and as well as seminar event captain. I gained a lot of experiences at that time and I realized that I became more responsible. Then in the middle of 2014, I started to import my own snack from Singapore. This was a huge improvement from my previous system when I bought from local supplier. Then in 2016, I did my internship program in Agility, which is one of the multinational company runs in export-import industry. And that is what I have done in my life. Next, I'm going to talk about what I want to be. From what I've done, it shows that I have a big interest in importing and food and beverage business. To be successfully in my field, I realized that I have to make an actionable plan. So here's my actionable plan, which I divide from my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s until my 60s. I believe that by following the plan, I can achieve my goal slowly but sure. So that's the last question in what section. Move on to the next section, which is why. In here, I will ask 5 important questions to help me explore myself. The first why is, why do I need to know myself? I need to myself to know the value of myself, therefore people will not degrade me, and to keep pursuing my dream based on my passion. Next is, why is it vital to know myself for my core competence? It is to focus on keep improving my best point and impress people by my core competence. Next is, why it will be beneficial for my future, because in the future people will get better and better at their specialty. By focusing on one field, I can be more focused and better at my specialty. Next is, why do I need to improve now? Because improving takes time and there are so many people that are better than me. The faster I improve, the better it is for my future. The last why is, why do the benefits are perpetual? It is important so that I can become the master of change. After asking the 5 whys, next is how, which is how I am going to pursue my goal to become a technopreneur and importer. To answer this question, I'm going to use the input process output framework. This framework will talk about what I know as the input, what I do as the process, and what I want to be in the output. And to control all of it, I will explain about how I perform. First, I'm going to talk about the input or what I know currently. From the first analysis, I have understand my individual competence, team capacity, and organizational capacity. Here is the summary of the analysis. The next box is process. In process, I will show how I utilize what I know in the previous section to do what I did, what I am doing, and what I will do in the future. Next is the output or what I want to become. By processing what I know, I believe in the end I will be able to be what I wanted to become, which are a techno-entrepreneur and importer in food and beverage industry. Next, I'm going to talk about how I perform. With the current knowledge that I have, I realize that I am still in the level of conscious incompetence, which means that I know that I don't know. And to achieve until in the master stage, I believe that hard working and passion is highly needed. And this is a summary of how will I pursue my dream, and this is the end of the how section. Next question is who, which will elaborate my vision, mission, and value. First is my vision is to become a successful snack importer and supplier for restaurant and hotel. My mission is to import snack legally without any cheating and to produce the best product for hotel and restaurant. Last is my value, which are integrity, professionalism, endurance, and perfection. Next question is when, which will explain about when will I implement my plan. It will be divided into short term, medium term, and long term. In the short term, I will have my intern and permanent job in importing companies so I can have more knowledge. And in the medium term, I will build my company and legally import at least one brand. And in the long term, I will produce certain goods for food and beverage and supplying all hotel and restaurant in Indonesia. That is the schedule of my plan, and next I'm going to talk about where, which is talking about where went right and where went wrong. This is important to keep me in the right way. Here I'm going to use the 5 letters of leadership to make sure that I'm always moving on to the top of the ladder. Last but not least is how much, which will answer how much should I improve. To achieve my goal, I believe that I have to improve my expert power, communicative power, and also adaptive power. Then, after improving in these three aspects, I believe that my self-development will be developed well.
So that's all about myself and my future plan.